Now, I've been hesitant to do this video because whether or not I dislike the vast majority of Christians, I do not wish to villainize the Christian deity itself, and Christianity has done a very good job of doing that. So I'm going to reiterate that whilst I recognize and appreciate the celestial being known as Yahweh, I do not in any way endorse Christianity as a religion. And this is why I believe that Christians tend to refer to Christ by his first name, Jesus, as opposed to the title that is Christ. Because Christ is an idea, Christ is a figurehead, whereas Jesus was the man. And they are more focused on the man because they are materialistic Luciferian sorts, rather than the divine idea and entity that is Christ, that we could all become as. So, let me go into further detail. Essentially, Christianity is the moderator religion. Now, I've been thinking about how I was going to word this for a little while, and essentially, the reason why I say Christianity is the moderator religion before, let's say, Judaism or Islam, which are also Arabic religions, but Christianity all the more so aspires to a moderator like logistics. And that's because Christianity is the only religion out of those three that says to obey a God without any sort of reasoning to it. There is no questioning their God. There is only blind obedience, blind faith, and if you ever deviate from this faith or 100% obedience, you will surely perish. Not even Westboro Baptist Church believes that. As much as people rail against Westboro Baptist Church, they believe that the doomed are already predetermined. They believe that everybody is a sinner, is going to get theirs, and that we are just living out our lives in punishment. And that at the end of all of this, the righteous will ascend, and the unrighteous will descend into chaos and hell. So, essentially, they think this is already just one layer of hell. And I'm perfectly content with that, because that does make some kind of sense. It doesn't make any kind of scientifical sense, but the fact is, it's pretty rational. I don't expect religion to explain everything in quantum physics or a periodic table, but just have some kind of consistency. That's all I ask. And many religions can do that, but not modern Christianity. The kind of Christianity mrrepzion espouses. So, the reason why I dislike Christians so much is because of that moderator mentality. Just like moderators, nobody is allowed to question the moderators. No matter how many abuses, no matter how many contradictions, no matter how many inconsistencies, total incompetence, doesn't matter. It's their forum, their rules, bleh. And that's how it is in Christianity. There is no questioning God. Either you believe or you don't. And if you don't believe, you're a sinner. What if you believe in God, but you do not necessarily believe in God? Isn't there a difference? Some would say that that's where Satan's role comes in. Satan must believe in God. It's not even a belief at that point. It would only be fact. So he knows there's a God, only he does not believe in God. And why doesn't he believe in God? What in his angelic life possessed him, or Lucifer, or whatever, to turn on God? As it's written in the Bible, it was because of his own lust for power and greed and things like that. But it was also his hatred of humanity. If you actually read the Bible, Lucifer does not like humanity. And I say Lucifer because a lot of people tend to use Satan and Lucifer interchangeably, but I know better. Lucifer despised humanity because humanity was above angel. And how can this be? If angels are closer to God, angels are much more attuned with the natural light and all this other New Age shit you want to justify it as, how can then man reign over angel? And because in the Christian Bible you don't question the Lord, you only follow his commands, there is no explanation for this. Only that God said that's the way it is, and you better abide by it. And of course, naturally, Lucifer didn't, because who would? So, all this does is make Lucifer out to be the protagonist. Because without any kind of explanation or reasoning, and I would think that all-loving God would be able to at least give you a reason. Maybe it's not a reason you agree with, but it's a reason you can comprehend, a reason you can rationalize and understand. I would think, before anything, God would implant us with the intelligence and the self-awareness we need to rationalize everything He plans on doing. And then if we don't do it, it is because we willfully chose evil. We chose inferiority. We chose sin. But we don't have that kind of intelligence. While Christians would like to believe that we do, we don't. We don't know everything that goes on. We do not know all the ins and outs of our choices and our lives. We don't even know if there's any kind of spiritual origin to all of this. And yet we're expected to believe that we're held responsible for our own actions and our own thoughts and our own beliefs on God. That makes no sense at all. You only give us this much to work with, but then we're held responsible for everything. You know what that sounds like? Moderators. Exactly like moderators. Because moderators say that you are held responsible for your content, your posts, but then they get to dictate whether or not you get to post there. So, here you are, working hard to make intelligible, interesting content, trying not to offend anybody, but then if a moderator's in a bad mood, fuck you anyway, and then they get to ban and delete your posts. That's not how the world works, or at least not how it should work. But then why does it work that way? Why are so many people so devoted to this religion, which is more or less what pro-moderators are? Whether or not they consider themselves actually religious people, it is a devotion to that belief system. So what motivates people to abide by this religious idea that moderators are just fine and dandy? Christianity. Why is it moderators are predominantly in the West and their apologists are in the West, and Christianity happens to be the predominant religion of Western society? It all adds up. And it's not going to make anything better by just saying atheism. Because atheism was, not created, but was saturated in the Christian indoctrinated culture. All you atheists out there, Amazing Atheists, Atheist Gamer 100, Atheist Circle Jerk Dicky, whatever, you all were raised in a Christian society. So whether or not you believe in the sky god, whether or not you believe in the flappy-winged angels, it doesn't fucking matter. You were raised in that culture, and you still are ingrained with those same belief structures. The same building blocks that is like a Christian. You just don't go to church. You just might have premarital sex. But you're still a fucking Christian. You're still a Christian in the back of your mind where it really counts. In your ethics, in your practices, in your actions. That's where you're a Christian, and that's why you will always fail. Because you have not rejected what has really defined Christianity. You have just rejected the semantics, the face of it. Okay, so you don't believe in the Sasquatch in the sky. But you still abide by all those same inconsistencies and that same dictatorial logic. What the hell did you expect to happen? So that's what this comes down to. And that's why I have such bitterness against most Christians, except for Westboro Baptist Church. That is because they have perpetuated this society. If it was not for Christianity, we probably would not have moderators, or at least not nearly as many of them. Because in Islam, Muslims believe that Allah will come down from heaven and save us. It has nothing to do with the way we act. It is only about what Allah knows is best. And Allah is going to separate us from the good, from the bad, and situate everything. And in Judaism believes that the Jews are the magical race, and that everyone else is just stupid and brutish and Gentile scum. And therefore, the only way to be good is to be Jewish. And, I don't know whether or not you can convert to Judaism and be of the magical elf race, or if you have to be born Jewish or whatever. But the point is, they have made this ultra-nationalist line in the sand that Jews are good, everyone else is varying degrees of bad. Maybe they're tolerable bad, but they're still bad. And it has nothing to do with heaven or hell or skies or angels or any of that. It's just about whether or not you are of that national origin. And with Islam, it is about, not even about the angels and things like that. They have that in there. But mostly it's about the world is rotten and Allah's going to set things right eventually. Let's pray to Allah so that it comes faster. And let's set the course so Allah can come down from heaven and make things better. Both of those religions are separate from Christianity in that they do not obey their God. They idolize their God. They cherish their God because their God is going to save them. Their God is going to save them from themselves. Their God is going to develop them and evolve them and awaken their inner being. Whereas the Christian God is simply laying down rules and commandments and punishing whoever he sees fit. Even though there are specific rules in the Bible of what you do and don't do, that has no bearing on anything in a Christian's mind. In a Christian's mind, it's all subjective. They're very moral relativists. Because you say, well, this is a sin, and they're like, well, that might be a sin, but in God's mind, blah, blah, blah. Or if you renounce your sinful ways and give yourself to Jesus, notice I said Jesus, not Christ, then it's all up in the air. No, there's a reason that God lists the commandments in a certain order and basically lays down the ground rules for why this is wrong and this isn't. The apostles and disciples went through tremendous means and hard work to define these evils and to explain why they are evil. And the very fact is that some sins are not forgivable because they define your nature. It has nothing to fucking do with the fact that God's like, okay, you can't do this, and then if you do that, bad. No, it's about this is your spiritual nature. If you are doing this sin, it defines who you are. It has nothing to fucking do with whether or not you broke the terms of service. So, that's what Christians fail to understand. That's what pisses me off so much about mrrepzion. It has nothing to fucking do with the fact that I want his viewer base. His viewer base is fucking retarded anyway. I'm not doing this for attention. I'm not doing this because somehow I'm magically jealous of mrrepzion. Proof is, I am far more charming, intelligent, and powerful than he could ever be. I can't even go into detail. I'm not even, fuck it. No. It's just the fact, as I was gonna go into how, he's a loser and how he has no charisma with women, but it's not even necessary. The point is here that mrrepzion is a tool in the most utmost degree, and I can't even put into words how much I despise him, not because of the kind of person he is, but because of the kind of being that he is. His attitude is bad. I'm not going to deny that. He has a bad attitude. He's smarmy. He's a jerk. He's passive-aggressive. He's a fuckwit. But that's just the surface of it. I'm looking at the underlining qualities. And the underlining qualities are he worships a moderator. Even if it's not a real moderator. Which might make it even worse. Because it is the idea of a moderator. He worships the concept of a moderator. The idea that good and evil are not objective. They are not absolute. That people are not defined by a greater nature than what we see before us. Only by what the magical sky moderator says we are. If the sky moderator says we're evil, then we're evil. If the sky moderator says we're good, we're good. And that opinion can change at any moment in time. So it has nothing to do with our actions, our emotions, our lives, our history, anything. All science, all pursuits, all labor means absolutely nothing to the sky moderator. I cannot handle that. I refuse to live in a world that is influenced by that. That's why I can't stand Christians or mrrepzion, who exemplifies that kind of Christianity. I do have a deep, sincere companionship with real Christians, with people that live for Christ, people that live for Yahweh. but I have no respect whatsoever, and outright hate people that claim to worship Jesus. So, you take that as you will. You can go ahead and claim I'm being a heretic. You can go ahead and claim that, I don't know what I'm talking about. I've never read the Bible. Blah, blah, blah. But meanwhile, you're the one with fucking 21 denominations arguing over the same freaking book. And you're the one with your own moderator monoliths all around you. Whether it be the Vatican's moderators, whether it be your Baptist church moderators that exist in little sectors like Reddit, where every single little church has its own set of terms of agreement. Whether or not you are a Mormon, Mormons are fucking terrible. You all have your moderators. And I don't even know what else to say here, other than out of all the religions out there, you are indeed one of the worst. And it is because of you that I have to fight this battle against moderators. It is because of you that I have to suffer every day of my life. It is because of you that people get censored and abused and raped and treated like shit. It is because of you that we are all in hell, or might even go to a spiritual version of hell. Anyone that is doomed to eternal hellfire is on your head. It is your fault. It always was your fault, and it always will be your fault. You are to blame. So that makes you the sinful one. Regardless of if you devote your time to charity, regardless of if you give a kidney to somebody, it doesn't fucking matter. You created this evil, and therefore God will smite you, if there even is a God. So, I guess that's it for now.